Hello guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here and welcome back to an all new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered video. What I thought I would do within today's video is showcase to you guys the finale myth in which I tested within my big 36-minute long myth-busting video on Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. If you want to go ahead and check out the full video, it will be linked in this video's description. However, I figured that it would be worth making a standalone video just showcasing this myth for those of you guys who don't want to watch the entire video, since we did test out a bunch of myths and I'm sure this is the one that most people clicked on the video for. So obviously, like the title states, I tested out a couple different myths to see if there was some way to save Roach/Ghost from Shepard's betrayal and kill Shepard early on loose ends. One of the most infamous missions ever in Call of Duty and one of the biggest plot twists. This had people bawling their eyes out. Well, anyways, I wanted to see if there was some sort of weird way to break the game or some sort of weird Easter egg that would allow you to save Ghost/Roach. So what I started to do is I started to look online for different out of the map glitches within the game, because what I thought is that if I could find a way to glitch out of the map prior to getting to the final portion of this mission, I thought, what if there was a way so that I could place claymores down in the position where General Shepard's helicopter and the exfil helicopter actually lands to collect Ghost/Roach. I figured if I could place claymores down where Shepard gets out of the helicopter, then they might actually set off the very second that Shepard pulls out his gun to kill Ghost and Roach, because maybe then the game would register that he is indeed an enemy and the claymores might explode, similar to how if you are using cheats such as the pineapple head cheat on loose ends, the game will actually register that Shepard is an enemy, because this cheat allows all enemies to have pineapple heads. However, the game only registers that Shepard is an enemy the very second he pulls out the gun to shoot Roach and Ghost. So the game is smart in that sense, so I figured using this logic, I could do the same thing by placing claymores down, and that as soon as Shepard was to bring out his gun, then it would register that he is an enemy and the claymores would explode and kill him. Obviously, this cutscene is a scripted event, however, I figured that maybe I could somehow break it somehow or something like that. So I did find a glitch. Now, before I show you guys the glitch, I just wanted to show some old footage from back in the original Modern Warfare 2 game, because on PC, people did manage to do character swaps, and using various different tools and modding techniques, they were able to get Ghost's revenge on Shepard to either reverse the roles, so it's instead Ghost killing Shepard as opposed to Shepard killing Ghost. And some people even managed to get it so that you're able to move during the cutscene when usually you're not able to shoot or melee or anything like that, to actually stab Shepard. I just thought I would share this old footage for you guys. I will leave a link to the original videos from where this footage is from down in this video's description if you want to check out the full thing. But anyways, back to the glitch. So this glitch can be located close to the estate house, and all you want to do is you want to jump up over onto this rock here. You then need to move backwards onto this wooden log. From here, run and jump onto this wooden fence. If you then move backwards a bit, you are then able to strafe jump on top of this metal fence here, and if you do this correctly, you are then able to slowly walk so that you don't fall off of this barrier along the metal fence up until you get to vegetation, and then you can run and jump, which will allow you to get outside of the map. And once you are outside of the map, you can explore pretty much the entirety of loose ends. Pretty much everywhere isn't a death barrier, and everywhere seems to be a solid object so that you can walk on this area. So I ended up getting up to the point in which the helicopter is supposed to pick you up within the end of loose ends. As you can see right here, it's absolutely beautiful, and you can see this little skid mark within the ground, and this is actually the exact same section in which you, the player Roach, is dragged backwards to safety. You can see this section right here, and then the dirt patch in front of that is actually the exact same section of which the helicopter lands that General Shepard exits out of. So as soon as I located this location, I began to place a bunch of claymores down, hoping for the best. So I placed claymores absolutely everywhere in this location, 10 of them I believe. Once I managed to place all of the claymores back, I ran back into the map and continued on the mission per as normal up until I got to the end of this mission in which Shepard betrays our crew. I'm going to shut up now and just play for you guys the raw gameplay, but make sure you stick around until after this, because because I tested out something even further pertaining to this exact same myth, so enjoy the footage.
I've got you, Roach! Hang on! Thunder 2-1! I've got red smoke in the tree line! Stand by to engage on my mark!
Roger that. I have a visual on the red smoke. Standing by.
Thunder 2-1! Cleared hot!
Roger that. Cleared hot. Guns, guns, guns.
Roach! Hang in there!
This is Viper 2-6. Stand by for rocket attack. Over. Roger. Hit them hard on that cell. Make sure they're down. Roger, I'm on it. Coming around.
Get up, get up!
5-0.
We're almost there!
Roger. I got them lined up. Gold Eagles on the ground. Watch for snipers on thermal. Over.
You have the DSM. We've got it, sir!
Good. That's one less loose end.
No!
Area is sanitized. All targets destroyed. Solid copy. No movement detected. 2-6 going into holding pattern.
So as you just saw, unfortunately, this myth is a failure, it is busted, you cannot save Ghost/Roach using this method. However, for some weird reason, the game does not register that Shepard is an enemy and the claymores do not explode and they do not kill General Shepard. And that is really unfortunate. I was really hoping that they might do something, especially since the cheats register that he is an enemy, so I don't really know why the claymores don't. However, I had a further plan, another idea to possibly save Ghost/Roach. So I actually glitched out of the map earlier on in the mission, way before getting to the finale. So I figured, what if I let the mission continue on even further? So that is exactly what I did. I defended the estate building, and then after I defended the estate building, I started to make my way over to the exfil site with Ghost. I killed off all of the enemies with the help of Ghost, and after I did so, I let Ghost continue to run on a bit further so that he was very close to the exfil site. As soon as I did this, I began to run away from him so that he would continue running on. Now I had to test this out a few different times because I found that sometimes when I tried to do this, I would go too far into the mission, in which you start getting tracked by mortars of which will insta-kill you no matter what.
Back in our position with mortars! Keep moving!
No matter if I tried to run away, I would just get insta-killed, which would mean I would have to restart the mission, unfortunately. But anyways, when I successfully managed to get away from Roach, I decided to do this glitch again. So once again, I jumped onto the rock, jumped onto the log, then jumped onto the fence, then jumped along onto the other fence through the tree, and then made my way carefully along the fence to get out of the map. What I was trying to do is I was trying to get Ghost to actually make his way to the exfil site, because earlier I obviously had glitched out of the map before the exfil point was marked on the map. So once again, I ran up to Ghost and you can see him running down the hill in the distance. Normally there would be enemies all over this place, but for some weird reason there were no enemies at all, and as you can see, I managed to get Ghost to run all the way down the hill down to the bottom. I then jumped out over the rocks to go ahead and meet Ghost, but before doing so, I once again placed a load of claymores down by the point in which the helicopter lands, just in case I could get them to kill General Shepard now. However, when I went up to Ghost, he pretty much would just stay stationary, he wouldn't move at all. However, similar to the myth that I tested earlier, you are able to nudge Ghost ever so slightly. However, it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience, but I was actually able to push Ghost all the way by the exfil site. However, it is very difficult to do because if you do it incorrectly, Ghost will just keep on running back to the same point, and it's very difficult for him to move. So I managed to get Ghost very close to the exfil site, but not exactly there. I was trying for literally a good couple of hours, but I just couldn't be successful with getting him dead on the exfil site. So unfortunately, I've not been able to properly myth bust this myth just yet. Hopefully I will within the future, and if you guys in the comment section want to try out this myth for yourself, you can go ahead and do so, and let me know in the comment section if you get any results. But yeah, I managed to get him very close to the exfil site, but unfortunately nothing seemed to happen. Now before I continue on, when I was actually trying to do this glitch, I did actually go back onto the normal map at one point in time to continue on the mission as normal, and literally all the enemies on the map had disappeared. It was very weird. It let me literally run down the hill and back up again where the enemies should be, and nothing would happen. It literally wouldn't let me finish this mission even if I were to run through the map up until the exfil point. It was very weird. I completely glitched out the level. However, I eventually found Ghost, and after I found Ghost, the enemies then started spawning in, but up until then, no enemies were on the entire map, and it wouldn't let me complete the mission at all. It was very weird. But yeah, so far, it doesn't seem like there is any way to save Ghost/Roach within this mission. Although you can get Ghost and Roach to actually get up to the exfil point, unfortunately, the helicopter doesn't come and it doesn't save them, and also, General Shepard doesn't seem to die from the claymores at all. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have any further ideas for how to save Ghost/Roach on this mission, because these were some really good ideas for me to test out, and I am definitely interested to try this once again. This was awesome to test out and a lot of fun to do. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not for the latest and greatest Modern Warfare news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.